Howdy roundabout, all you shaggy goose egg boys, and welcome to Al Pacino's Prison Scene ASMR.
Where we are eating cold brownies.
And today, we will be discussing Tenacious D.
And the Pink of Destiny.
Oh, my teeth. Hey, that's good though, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I feel like we should pause so I can eat this.
Yeah.
No.
Jake made us brownies, and we're drinking orange grapefruit Ahas, which we're
Oh,
not
God.
sponsored by, but wouldn't mind to be.
Hey,
Because
Aha.
I forgot about the caramel glass in there.
Yeah.
Because I just thought I broke my tooth.
Yeah, there's glass in these brownies.
Hey, it's good though, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, what doesn't kill you, bye, Chris. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Oh, his computer's dying.
As Kelly Clarkson always said.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Na, 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 na.
Okay.
I want American Idol.
So,
Also, Kyle's EP, I've Never Touched a Woman, is coming out next month. Be sure to pre-order that on Spotify.
Here's a little listen. Dan, Dan. I don't know why I was making the noise. I never touched a woman. They've never touched me back.
he does not need
He does not need
a woman's touch.
a woman's touch.
He actually needs
Actually needs.
a woman's touch.
Oh, that wasn't funny.
All right, pick a destiny.
I can do it on my own. That's what you
Oh,
should have done.
That's,
All right. All right. Okay. All right. Pick a destiny. So, we're on our email recommendations. That means send us emails, you goofy goofs, you shaggy goof egg boys.
Yeah.
So,
Jesus.
Chris decided that he wanted to do this movie.
Yeah,
I'll be
I
honest.
recommended this movie.
So, I actually saw this a few years ago, and I did not like it. However, this time, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Very much so. So much to the point where when Tenacious D was playing music, I got goosebumps.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
They're a great band. Kyle, you got any input?
Sorry, I'm eating a brownie. I hurt my tooth.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, see, it happened to me. Oh, that's unsettling. But no, I really like this movie. I'd never seen it before. The only affiliation I had with this movie is the song "Master Exploder," which was on Rock Band.
That was on Rock Band, really?
It was on Rock. I mean, they took the bad words out.
So-
but
This will come into my story, but I never played Rock Band. I was a really, really big Guitar Hero fan.
oh yeah, no, I played that too.
Yeah, especially during the time I watched this movie.
Oh.
But continue.
Also, there's
I was
also
gonna-
salt on top, as always.
I was gonna say we may disagree on this. I did not laugh once in the movie,
Really?
but I still liked it.
I
Like not once did I even like.
if
chuckle.
I did laugh, it wasn't a whole lot.
Yeah.
Although I did find it funny.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was
Yeah.
like it was funny, but not enough for me to laugh.
It's
Yeah.
not the same
That's
kind of
most
funny.
things now.
Where like Impractical Jokers is a
Yeah.
laugh out loud.
See, okay, and this is where we disagree.
Don't even say it.
I can't actually laugh out loud to Impractical. Not that I think it's not funny.
Don't even
It's-
say it.
I guess it's just not my kind of
I'm
humor.
good. Okay,
Which
after
you know
this-
what my kind of humor is.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
my
well-
YouTube
Not
search
safe for
history
TV.
is. Yeah.
Well, let's just say this: my computer's fully charged and yours isn't. So
Yeah, okay.
you know,
Hold up.
Ooh,
They were starting the podcast.
who you texting?
he's
Yeah,
texting Chill Deshaun. He was on the podcast last time. I don't know why I got so close to the mic for that.
Mm.
Oh, did you hear that? Yeah,
That's
a
what
good
it's like to
brownie.
be inside my mouth. That's gross.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get started? I feel like we've killed a lot of time.
Well. Okay. So what
It's
I was
only
going to
been
say,
10 minutes.
but before we get into this,
No, it's been 5.
so it is Father's Day while we were recording.
Oh,
this,
I was gonna say that.
and I just got back from hanging with my dad. In the spirit of Father's Day, I'd like to shout out my dad because the first time I watched this, and it was the last time that I watched this movie before I had to watch it for the podcast. I was in 3rd grade, and I watched it with my dad. My dad's the one who showed it to me, and I was really, really into Guitar Hero and all the stuff that my dad was into at the time. Well, when he was a teenager, and it was like AC/DC and Black Sabbath and all that.
Which, by the way, speaking of my grandfather, he was growing up around that time, the 70s, and he had the record. He had the Harvest Gold record, and for the longest time, I did not think Neil Young was rock and roll.
Neil
I never
Young?
listened to Neil Young.
Dude,
I only listened
Which
to him
means that
later
he's
in
not.
life, which when he was Neil old. Who's that again?
anyway,
Yeah.
but it's weird because he's like a guy on a guitar, and that's it.
Yeah.
But like whenever I listen to it, I'm like rock and roll.
Oh yeah.
So I agree. Metallica,
Well,
my
there's a
dad was
difference
super
between
into.
rock and rock
So
and roll.
Metallica-
is it not?
was the big thing I was into. Like I was listening. It was the earliest thing that I listened to. Like I'd be in the car seat and I just knew like every song on the Black album by heart.
That's how it was with Weird Al.
Yeah, which I came to learn who Weird Al was on my own.
UHF is a bad movie.
UHF is a good movie.
No, it's not.
It's a good bad movie.
No.
Okay. Anyway, about this movie,
Sorry.
which is a good movie, even though the box office would say otherwise, which is why it's a cult classic.
Honestly, I think this movie has given me a lot of inspiration. I think that this is the kind of movie that I want to make.
Okay, and I'm going to talk about that specifically after this recap.
I read a quote from Jack Black saying that
Is this the quote you Googled?
saying that the reason that the movie didn't do well is because all the people who it was meant for were too high to go out and see it in theater.
And that's probably true because like it gained a huge cult following, but mainly around stoners.
Yeah.
I think we watched the same interview, actually.
I just read it. Like I was just like looking up like the behind the scenes. So anyways, go ahead, Chris. Topher.
All right. Well, right before I go into this recap, I'm going to give a little disclaimer. I know in previous recaps I have been slightly offensive, and I apologize.
We
for
have
that.
let me stop you there.
Yeah.
This will be the last time I interrupt you for the entirety of the recap.
Okay.
We have a rule in our group. we have a rule in our group. If you preface something, then it no longer becomes offensive. And I feel like that's what Chris is doing
I'm
right now.
prefacing this entire no.
So this entire recap, if he says anything bad, is a joke.
Yes, it is a joke. But
As
also,
opposed
I'm
to
going to
the
say
other times.
that as far as the cursing, I know some of our viewers are not cool with that. So I'm gonna keep it like, and I know some of my family listen to this, so I'm gonna keep it strictly to where if it is said in the film, like if it's a curse word, then I will say it. So with that being said,
Fuck.
a long ass fucking time ago in a land called Kickapoo, there lived a black family, but not just a black family, the black family, the family of Jack Black.
That was funny.
Yeah. It gets worse from here. The film starts out with Jack Black singing about his childhood, and we see a young Jack Black who looks, by the way, the actor they choose
He looks
exactly like a young Jack
I thought it
Black.
was like some sort of like deep
relative
fake CGI
or something.
yeah.
Well, I thought it was like a relative or something. But
As long as fucking time ago.
Oh, what was that about interrupting?
yeah.
I'm singing quietly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we see Jack Black's family gathered around the dinner table, and a young Jack Black comes in to serenade him about a song about him fucking a dragon and killing it. And his father, Meatloaf, doesn't really like that very much, and so he takes out his belt and starts giving him a good old ass whooping, like in the good old days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's like,
That's why I
"Hey,"
can't sit anymore.
hey, you're my son, and because you're my son, I'm going to protect you by forcing you to not chase your dreams and just kind of shitting on everything that you like. So he tears down all of his rock and roll posters and he grounds them and he goes out the door where we see the only poster that he hasn't taken down, which is a poster of the man, Dio. Dio. And, naturally, because he's heartbroken, young Jack Black starts to pray to Dio. Excuse me.
That was
That sounded like the burp equivalent of a shit.
Oh, ew! I just.
oh God.
That was awful.
Yeah. What was in that? I smell meatloaf.
No, there's pork in there
No,
somewhere.
I smell toast. Uh-oh.
Anyway, he starts praying to Dio, and he's like, hey, I'm sad. I want to pursue my dreams, but I can't do it when I'm stuck here with my family who doesn't want me to do so. So Dio comes to life, and he's like, hey, JB, I love you, man. And here's what you should do. You should go on to Hollywood and pursue your dreams there. There, it is prophesied that you will meet your counterpart, and with him, you will form the world's most awesome band. And so right there, Jack Black starts on his journey to find Hollywood, but he gets a little confused because there's other Hollywoods in America. But when he's like in his, early to mid 20s, he finally makes it to the Hollywood in Los Angeles, the city of fallen angels. There, he meets a large man with Jesus locks playing an acoustic guitar as beautifully as Kyle, but if Kyle was really good.
Hey, I'll have you know, you're right.
And he's blown away by this. And he's like, hey, man, I'm JB. I just rolled into town. I'd like to be your friend. And he's like, hey, how about you just stand over there? And so he starts playing some Beethoven. And then JB jumps in with his vocals. And they are vibing, man, dude. It's like the planets have aligned. And a pizza guy hears them. And he's like, hey, guys, you're really good. What's your band? And Kyle Gass, who, by the way, is the guy who can play the guitar very well. And he's like, hey, I'm not in the band. They call me KG Soul Man 5000. That aims to keep it that way. And so he walks off, and Jack Black's like, oh man, he's so cool. But he dropped his pick with his initials on it, and Jack Black keeps that. Later on that night, because he's homeless, he just rolled into Los Angeles, the brutal streets of Los Angeles. He sleeps on a park bench. And then he gets jumped by a group of people who are cosplaying as the dudes from Clockwork Orange. And also, I don't know why.
Oh, I know why.
Specifically.
I know why.
Okay. Anyway.
Kyle knows.
Which I've never seen that movie.
Oh, really?
So anyway, yeah, I haven't.
It's
I know it's rough, which is why I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's the kind of rough that I can't handle.
Yeah,
But,
I watched it, and I didn't. It was a good movie. I did not enjoy it.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get into that later. So anyway, he gets jumped by these guys, and KG is walking across the street, and he sees this, and he's like, "Oh man, I should hide." And so he hides and watches them, and they start beating him up, and then I forget why they leave, but eventually they leave, and then They like run off, and KG like comes in. He's like, hey, yeah, you better run, acting like he beat him up. And Jack Black looks at him and he's like, oh, you're my savior. And KG sees the pic and he's like, oh, okay, this kid could be my servant. And so he takes him to his studio apartment, and he's like, yeah, you can crash here. Also, I'm working on an album. And Jack Black's like, oh, can I be on it? And he's like, yeah, maybe if you're cool enough and do all my laundry and clean the apartment. And so he does that for a bit. And in cleaning the apartment, Jack Black sees a check for $200, and he's like, hey, what's this? It says love you honey on it. And he's like, oh no, it's nothing. And so anyway, they begin their KG says, if you want to be a rocker, you got to do rock and roll training. And so the rock and roll training includes a simulation of a rock and roll show where he rigs up bottles and everything to smash on them, and he like yells boo and stuff. And during this time, Jack Black hears like boo, get off the stage. And he sees all these dummies and he starts picturing Meatloaf's head on it. And then this is where we see that he has some father issues, some like attachment issues. And then he curls up and into a fetal position and starts to cry. And Kyle Gass is like, oh man, this is too much. And he starts to actually care for Jack Black. And he's like, hey man, you're good. You're a good guy. And then we get a voicemail by Kyle Gass's mom, which
would actually
sorry.
it would be a voice female.
Yeah, female voice. It's now exposed that Kyle Gass is not a rocker. His mommy has been paying his rent, and his mommy sent a voicemail that Jack Black hears that, hey, 15 years is enough. You're on your own now. And so Jack Black is like, what, you lied to me? He gets all mad and he's like, dude, screw you, man. And KG starts packing, but then he's like, I mean, we gotta leave because I spent the rent. I spent the rent on this. And he takes out a guitar case with a bow on it, and Jack Black opens it and he sees this beautiful acoustic guitar with his initials on it, and it's awesome. And he's like, you know what? Maybe we can make this work. So they decide to pay the rent by going to an open mic night. And they write a song about their band, about like, how they met and how they're going to blow your socks off. And it's pretty good. It's all right. But the manager of the bar is like, hey, you know what? If you want to win the competition next week, you really got to write some new material. So they go home to start writing some new material. They try it for a bit, and Kyle Gass kind of fucks up a little bit, and things just don't work. They're very flustered, and they're like, man, how are we going to make a good song? And so they look at like all these Time magazines and stuff, and they see that like, I think it's like Jimi Hendrix and like other like musicians, like rock musicians, have the same pick on the cover of the magazines, and it is what will be the pick of destiny. So they go over and they try to find the pick at this music store where we see Ben Stiller, who produced the movie. He's like, oh man, what you seek is the pick of destiny. It was created by this black magician from like the medieval times, and it was taken from Satan's tooth that was like chipped out by a blacksmith, and he like formed it into a pick to repay the blacksmith so that he can play the lute and get all the bitches. And so that's how the pick of destiny has like come into play. And the legend of the pick of destiny is that if you have it, then you're basically a master of the guitar. Like you can be as big as the greats like Dio and Black Sabbath and all of that. So they're like, okay, where's the pick of destiny? Well, it's at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum. And so they're like, okay, we need to break in to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum. So they decide to go over there. And on their way over there, they stop at this diner, and where Kyle Gass meets a bunch of questionably possibly underage sorority girls, and he's like, hey, I want some poontang. And Jack Black's, no, we need to stay on the mission. And Jack Black also meets this really weird guy who tried to get the pick once, and he's like, yeah, it's dangerous over there. I lost my leg. but he
was that the guy who played Andy Dufresne from
he looked familiar.
He looked like the from Morgan Freeman. They're in jail. What am I thinking of?
Oh, he does look like.
Oh God, what am Shawshank Redemption?
There you go.
Thank you, Jesus.
He played in that.
Well, yeah. I'm saying that guy looked like the lead guy. I'm gonna look that up.
Okay,
while you're doing that.
Well, anyway, so Kyle's talking to the girls, and
that's me.
And JB is talking to the weird dude with the crutches, and he's like, look. Here's a little hint of how you can get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum. There are 2 air vents on the top. And is it not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
No, sorry, I made a face at Jake.
Oh, okay.
I just did this. Which is really funny for audio listeners.
Like, hey Kyle, I know how to get into the Hall of Fame, and Kyle's like, nah man, I'm too horny. I want to go bang these sorority chicks.
Yo, it's actually me.
And he's like, what do you want? Do you want success or do you want titties? And Kyle lifts up his shirt and he's like, titties. And so
fair enough.
They divide.
Bum, bum.
And Jack Black, he goes off on foot. He goes into the woods, and he's pursuing his dreams. He's going to the museum.
Tim Robbins.
And
sorry.
On his way through the forest, he gets really hungry and he starts eating some mushrooms, and then he hallucinates. And this is really important. He hallucinates Sasquatch, who is J.C. Riley, by the way. Is that not his name? The dude who was in Step Brothers?
John C. Riley.
John C. Riley.
I mean, you were right. Yeah.
Anyway, he hallucinates Sasquatch, and he hallucinates himself as a baby Sasquatch, and he sings a goofy song about him being his daddy and protecting him, which speaks back to, him having daddy issues. We'll get into that later. Meanwhile, Kyle Gass is at the sorority party, and the way he's like wooed these girls is by telling them that he's in a rock and roll band, and he's kind of a big deal. And so they're like, oh, cool, someone famous. So they're like, hey, how about you like play your music for the party? And so he does. He plays a song that he wrote with Jack, but it doesn't go well. Because he only plays his parts. He only knows his parts, and they're good as a duo.
A long ass fucking time ago.
Yeah, and so he gets laughed at, and he's like, you know what, I've goofed up. I need to go find my buddy. And so he goes to find his buddy who is in the. Sorry. He goes over to the museum, and Jack Black finds the museum himself, and he storms the gates. He makes it to the vent on the roof, and he climbs down it, and he gets a radio call from Kyle, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm here." They meet in the vents, and meanwhile the guards are stoned out of their minds, and they're dangerous because they're stoned and they have guns. And so anyway, Kyle and Jack Black, they finally make it to the area of the museum that has the pick of destiny, and so they climb up and get it, and they get the pick, but then they make a huge mess and they sound the alarms and they have to storm out the gate, and then all the guards like come up and start firing at them wildly, and the security door is about to close, but then they power slide their way through it, and so they make it. They haul ass over to the open mic night, because it's, within like 12 hours, it's open mic night. And they get stopped by a cop. And Jack's like, hey, just be cool. And Kyle's like, okay, I'm cool. And then Kyle floors it. And then we have a very, Blues Brothers. It's the first Blues Brothers. It's very much like the chase scene at the end of Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
Blues Brothers, if
you've ever seen it.
Seen Blues Brothers.
If you've seen Drake and Josh, then you know.
Yeah, if you've seen the Jonas Brothers movie. Is there a Jonas Brothers movie?
No, but there is a Big Time Rush movie, in case y'all haven't seen that.
Is there not a Jonas Brothers movie?
Thought there was.
Camp Rock, that's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
No, you're thinking about Lemonade.
Anyway, so they have an awesome, chase scene.
Renegade Lemonade.
Jack Black wrote a song for it. And so anyway, it's night time. They finally make it to the open mic, and they're arguing about who should use the pick. And in their arguing, they're like jerking it back and forth. I should have used a different verb there. And you done. And then the pick breaks, and it's like, oh no.
Oh no!
What are we gonna? I also didn't say this. Sorry, I'm backtracking. I'm backtracking a little bit.
It goes to the beginning. Let me start over.
No.
It's fucking time ago.
The pick was guarded by lasers, and so Jack Black goes through the I cannot leave this out. Jack Black makes it through the lasers.
Oh,
and to push the button, he has to push it with his dick.
I did not like that scene at all, because you could see the exact outline.
I thought it was hilarious.
I mean, that was the one that got a chuckle out of me.
Oh yeah,
I'll say that.
Yeah. But anyway, back to where we are now at the end. Kyle Gass says, "Wait a minute."
The pick broke.
The pick broke.
Yeah, the pick broke, and he was like, "Oh no, what are we gonna do? We've gone through so much trouble for this. We've been through so much shit, and I've deactivated lasers with my dick." And the manager is out of character, very nice to them and encouraging. He's like, "Hey guys, it's not about the pick. It's about the band. Go in there and just do what you guys do. Be Tenacious D. And they're like, you know what? You're right. So they go in.
Tenacious D isn't a place; it's a people.
And the manager picks up the pick, and the manager starts laughing, and then he turns into Satan. He was Satan this whole time. Maybe not this whole time, but he is now. And the pick forms into his tooth, and now he is complete. And then Jack Black and Kyle Gass, they come back in. They're like, maybe both of us can use both parts of the pick. And they're like, oh shit, no, Satan. And Satan's like, I'm complete. I'm going to rule the world now, and it's all thanks to you guys. I'm starting with you. And Jack's like, wait, you motherfucker. I can't sing. And so they basically make a deal with the devil.
Goodly bad.
They make a deal with the devil. They enter in a rock off, and the stakes are that if they win, the devil leaves Earth alone, and he has to pay their rent.
That's funny. The last girl I was with, I entered a rock off with her.
They're gonna say you paid her rent.
I don't understand what you meant by that.
I don't either. Keep going.
And anyway, and the devil's like, okay, yeah, but if I win, then I get to have sex with Kyle and eternally in hell. Yeah, Kyle Petrock. And and so they have a rock off. By the way, Satan is Dave Grohl in this movie.
Yes.
And so naturally, Satan's part is like awesome. Like he
naturally
because
Satan's awesome
because he's Dave Grohl and also Satan. And it's an amazing rock song. And so the Tenacious D, they start like coming up with an amazing acoustic jam, and it's awesome. But then Satan's like, you guys suck. And then he shoots a laser beam at Kyle, and then Jack Black, through the power of friendship, blocks him with his acoustic guitar that Kyle gifted him and reflects the ray onto his horn. The horn breaks. He is no longer complete. And then Jack Black takes the horn and then chants him back to hell, and they rock the concert, and they go back and they smoke the bong of destiny, which is a bong made out of Satan's horn, and they start making awesome tunes. The end.
An hour later,
I'm sorry.
We're now done with the
3:15 p.m.
recap.
We're done with it now.
All right, I'll let you go first, Chris. What's this movie about?
Friendship.
Solid answer. Kyle?
Me? I don't know if it's a story or if it's supposed to be an allusion to a specific story, but I think it's just about it's the story of religious experience. And specifically how that makes one complete.
It's funny
just
because
like the
the script I'm writing right now for my practicum is turning into the same kind of thing.
Like his.
It's actually called Tenacious D, the Pick of Destiny 2.
Yeah, actually, yeah. No, but yeah, like
Tenacious Double D.
I didn't mean for it to be, but now it's about like not directly, but yeah, like you said, a religious experience and being whole after that, which I think is potentially problematic. At least just the way that they go about it here, with like the idea of the pick being the one thing that can make them good, and relying solely on that, and then never having like a redemption maybe, or a realization that they don't need the pick. Because yes, they don't use the pick, but they do use the bong of destiny right before they play music.
Do they do it before or after?
Before.
I do not remember them doing that.
I do. I watched this yesterday, so.
Okay.
Wait, they use like a bong?
No, they use the bong of destiny in the last scene.
Yeah.
Right before
they start recording their album.
Yeah, but they still performed that show, did they not?
No, they didn't. They walked away.
Oh,
okay.
Okay, well then I'm wrong.
Then I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I wasn't entirely sure if they did go on or if they.
No, they walked away.
Okay.
They never went back inside. So I think that's potentially problematic. No, but I also think it's one of those things where it's
I
like,
don't think so.
why? Okay, the
Well,
reason I say it is
First off, they couldn't because the manager was dead.
Yeah, but Jake, say
Yeah.
specifically explain why it's problematic, and then Chris, you
it's
can
problematic because it's suggesting the idea of relying on some supernatural being or thing to make yourself the best, maybe,
Like the bong.
right, or
Yeah.
the pig.
Okay.
And then they never come around to not using that because they do use that at the end of the last shot of the film. They use it.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't disagree with that, but I think that, like, supernatural element aside, it's more the tool that they use. Like, the pick can only be used by one of them, and they fought over that at the end. But the bong is more of a way of how they've always, like, congregated and collaborated.
No, and I agree. And I think
And-
that can play a part to your friendship thing.
But yeah, that's all I was saying. Is that it went from them, like, pursuing fame and glory to them just, like, writing music because it's what they love to do, and it's because they just the broship with each other, and, like, the passion for their art, making music together. It is what defeated the devil in the end.
Right.
It's the passion toward each other that defeated the devil in the end. And in real life is what, like kickstarted their career, because Tenacious D was a thing since, like,
The 90s, yeah.
No, the late 80s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, mid to late 80s.
I thought it was like
if I'm not
90,
mistaken.
93.
I thought 2001 was their first album.
It was, but they
Yeah.
were a band way longer before that. Their first studio recorded album was in 2001, and Dave Grohl did the drums to all of that, but it was always just them. They were a duo, and Dave Grohl and their connections in Los Angeles gave them the tools to record their studio album and be bigger. But had they not stuck together for that decade of just nothing and shitty gigs, we probably wouldn't even have the Jack Black that we have now.
Wouldn't have Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, well,
Dude.
I mean, because Jack Black's career didn't really get big until
the big fat panda.
until around the turn of the century.
Well, he was in Neverending Story 3.
Yeah. Well, when did that movie come out?
I have no idea. Like early.
I didn't even know there was a third one.
It's bad.
I remember the second one being really weird, but I haven't seen those in God knows how long.
The only good one is the first one.
Which High Fidelity is the movie that, like, really gave him recognition?
1994.
But yeah, so I think there's a lot of that we can say about specifically father issues,
Mhm.
And how that plays into the religious idea of God being the father, and the issue that you have there on top of the issue with his actual father, and trying to prove oneself to both at the same time. And I think this movie shows a lot of that. I would say.
I think there's something there, and I think how funny is it that we're recording this on Father's Day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought about that.
But the other thing, I know, Chris, you talked about Sasquatch, but also
Or like
Dio.
Sassy Squatch. Hey.
Well, it's just any, like, it's any, and even in Kyle, because Kyle is also in real life, like, a good bit older than him.
Mhm.
He's just looking for someone to look up to.
No,
who
I completely agree.
Who will support what he does.
I completely agree, but Dio also calls him son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, you know why that is? Dio is Italian for God.
I did not know that.
That's the Google search that changed the meaning for
Let me see here.
'Cause
Dio was
that-
also I know he was in Black Sabbath. I think he was the bassist, if I'm not mistaken.
So
But see, he praised Dio at the beginning, and then God tells him to go to Hollywood, and that's how this whole thing starts.
So what did you think this was about before?
I didn't know. Like, I really didn't. I just assumed it was kind of something along. I knew it had to do with some sort of religious experience, because there's a lot of things for, like, they go up the stairway to heaven, to get the pick.
Guitar
Oh
way.
yeah, the guitar
Yeah.
way to heaven.
Yeah, and all that stuff.
Which there's a lot of-
And I knew there was like religious stuff because what I really like is at the beginning, the entire house is gray. It's like neutral toned, and
Dude,
the only color there is like the rock and roll posters.
is
Even
black.
what they're wearing too.
Yeah,
Is black.
And
It's all black.
There's some red.
Very, 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 very small hints of red.
Yeah, but
And
it's like
then-
classic rock.
And then the door
colors.
closes, and the poster of Dio is like all
it
red.
pops,
Yeah. But-
So,
really interesting.
but I also, upon that, I also kind of thought that maybe it was about not what's unconformity, nonconformity. Is that the
What do you mean?
I don't know. Going against the grain is just what I would say. I don't know a single word.
nonconformity? I was also thinking about that too because of initially that color blend, but also, so when Jables first meets Kyle Gass, he's Kyle is playing, and Jack Black says, "Don't you know a genius when you see one?" And everybody kind of walks away except the pizza guy,
Yeah.
who would play a pivotal part. And I think it's interesting that the one guy who stayed was the pizza guy, and now that can just be oh well, this is a stoner comedy possibly, and the pizza guy's a stoner
Yeah.
stereotypically, so why not that guy stay? But also at the same time, it's like he's the only one that did recognize the genius,
Yeah.
and he's the one that goes against the grain.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a lot because anytime you have a stoner movie, it's always, generally speaking, it's these two people who are friends through their mutual love of going against the system.
Yeah.
And whether that takes place in like something as massive as corporate espionage or something along the lines of
Dang, he's thirsty. boy.
he's like, hey, I'm just gonna smoke this weed with you and then we'll do this together. All right, everyone wants to get up and go get an aha in the middle of this.
The brownie was salty, man.
You did nice.
It wasn't that salty.
It was around the end of eating it.
Okay, but I mean, basically, what I was going to say is like all stoner movies are kind of the same, but this one I think sticks out because it's a, I don't know if you classify it as a musical, but it has musical numbers in it.
Yeah.
And also the fact that it does have this kind of religious overtone to it, and I think it is an overtone because I think you'd have to be like crazy to not watch this and go, oh, clearly this is something about man's relation to the divine.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
I think Jack Black's family is like, that ultra fundamentalist, don't do anything but what we say here in the letter of the law, Bible reader kind of thing.
Mhm.
Whereas Jack Black sees the ultimate, he sees the divine in music.
Which is completely ironic, and this goes back to the second what's it called? The Second Jerusalem Council. What is it called?
The Nicene Council?
Is that what it is?
Where-
Basically, where Paul was like, "Hey, you don't got to cut your pee off to
that's
be."
that's the first Jerusalem Council.
Okay, then that one.
Yeah.
It's ironic that parallel there because the ones who were like, "Yeah, you got to cut your pee off," were the ones farthest from God, and I think that it's somewhat the same here. Is that the Jack Black's parents, and more specifically everyone else, if we're to take it like that, is farthest from whatever divine entity, God, that you want to call it.
Well, a big reason, I mean, there are a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons that Christianity formed was because there was such a, specifically after the exile of the Jews by King Nebuchadnezzar, when they came back under Cyprus, they had their land restored, and it's like really one of the only times in history that's ever happened. Like a people were removed from their land and then given it back. That's kind of crazy. But they got back, and so the question was, well, what now? And a lot of post-exile Jews looked back at their history because all the history books were written during the exile. First, Second Kings, Chronicles, all that stuff wasn't written during when it was happening. It was written during the exile in the 500 like BC, somewhere in that time. And what's interesting is that when they came back, they were basically like, well, okay, clearly what happened before was that we weren't following the law close enough, and that's why God punished us. And so from there, you get the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and they come together and they essentially like, what is written in the law, in the letter of the law, you follow it explicitly, to the point of like, if you do something on a Saturday on the Sabbath, like,
You're going to hell.
You would be beaten, because they're like, no, don't do that, because if you do that, we're going to lose our land again. That was kind of the idea behind that during that early, I don't know what you call, like third century BC, like Judaism, like that kind of area. The reason I'm saying this is that because a lot of fundamentalists have the same kind of argument, where it's like, if it does not say explicitly in the letter of the Bible, then you can't do it. It's bad. It's terrible. You cannot do it. It's unholy. And that's kind of a wild argument, because if you would read the Bible, you'd see that's exactly what Jesus was there to preach against. It's not that Jesus never said that the law was bad. He just said that there are certain, that the law was written for a people at a certain time, and it is okay for it to be updated, and you can abstract from the law what the common set is, and then you can act without that law. That's kind of what Jesus did there. So,
And that's what Jack Black did.
If
you rearrange the letters of Jack Black, they spell Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Something I think is another interesting. Speaking of fatherhood, still, when he's getting pelted with glasses and bottles and stuff, Jack Black like collapses and he says something super profound. Do you remember what he says?
I forgot exactly.
He goes, "I was not a mistake."
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Which is crazy, because in that
in Kung Fu Panda,
yeah,
there are no accidents.
Yeah, this movie predicted Kung Fu Panda.
It's crazy.
It
because,
is Kung Fu Panda.
Like in that musical number, when Daddy Meatloaf is beating him, he tells him that because it's Meatloaf.
No, I know, but Daddy Meatloaf.
Daddy Meatloaf.
That's what I want my kids to call me.
Daddy Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says like, "Why were you ever born?" And your brother is 10 times better.
You didn't pull out, dumbass.
Jesus loves you more. Jesus loves him more.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to tell him that it's not me like bashing you that's the problem. It's the music you listen to. You need to stop listening to the music, and then you'll love me more and be a better person.
Yeah, which is kind of wild to me, because I see a lot of times people have similar stories about their parents. They their parents are like, they were super like fundamentalist in whatever aspect, maybe not even a religious aspect or specifically a Christian aspect, but it's like, my parents wouldn't let me do anything because they were afraid that I'd be tempted. Yeah. And my first thought is, well, did your parents not raise you properly? Why are they so insecure? Because I understand that, when kids are growing up, you need to foster them and shape their ideals, obviously. But when your kid reaches a certain age, and that could be whatever age that they seem to be mentally capable, you have to pull back and let them fail.
Yeah.
Because again, as Uguay says, failure is the best. With Yoda, I think Uguay also says it,
because it's like
failure is the best teacher.
You can shelter them from anything, and they'll probably be a good kid while they're like in your house. But once they're on their own, and they go out and pursue all these things because they've never experienced them, and they're without any kind of guidance, usually they just fall like flat on their face with no safety net.
Well, and I've seen that just in my personal experience. I've seen that in a lot of people, because we all go to college together, and I've seen that a lot of kids, they grow up and they have super strict parents. They don't let them do anything. They don't allow their kids to make mistakes. And then when they go to college, their kid becomes a mistake in a certain aspect. And I think if you're going from a certain moral ideal, they make lots of mistakes and they don't have any. They have no knowledge to draw from in their own experience in how to act because you have limited that. And I think if you were a good parent, you would have taught your kid how to act and trusted them to do so. And if they fail, they fail. But that's all that you can do is allow that. So I have a family member right now.
Got it.
Not okay. Sorry, I don't want to say anything, but it's like I have a family member right now. It's like we can, or at least I can already tell. It's like it's going to be the same thing with them, and they had somewhat strict parents, and it's like once they leave the nest, it's going to be a bad few years before they learn, and it's and I hate that because but they were never given any chances to make mistakes.
Well, oh, sorry, no, you go ahead. Well, I was going to say, so that's an interesting thing to bring up when you consider JB's parent. Just in the world of the movie, I don't know how much. I know some of this is based on truth. I don't know how much is accurate with like KG and the real Jack Black's parenting. But in the movie, like the difference between how KG was brought up and his parents still supporting them even when he's like well in his 30s, and Jack Black just being on his own all his life.
Yeah, but it's interesting because they kind of end up in the same place.
But Jack Black especially, it's weird because like midway through the movie when he finds out that Kyle is just a bust, it's like they immediately
flip roles.
They immediately flip roles.
Yeah.
Which I think that's the beginning of Jack Black's redemption or whatever you want to call it, arc.
But Jack Black is like maybe not the most responsible person, but he's way more responsible than Kyle.
I mean,
well, I would say he's determined. He has a purpose.
Yeah.
I think the difference I would say I think he is more responsible. But I think he's not as mature.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't know how to articulate the difference in that, but I think that in my mind,
he's naive. Yeah,
how I'm viewing it.
But the world. I think by the end of it, he at least lessens his naivety because the world beats more of that into him. Beats more. I don't know if you would say common sense, but experience into him, and that lessens that at the very least.
What I'd be interested though is in that scene, Godzilla versus Kong, like the one way back starts playing, and that theme music kind of merges into the scene. It becomes diegetic within the fight.
Well, what scene are you talking about?
When he's doing the dishes and he sees the check and the voicemail, and they have that fight.
Sorry, you said Godzilla versus Kong, and I was thinking, I thought you were talking about the movie.
No, I'm talking about the old movie. It plays on the TV.
I got you.
Okay. In that scene. I was curious as to what that means. I don't have any idea. But
yeah, I mean, I really didn't take note of that other than the fact that it was like two big monsters about to fight each other.
That is really interesting, though, because that's sort of what happens.
Yeah.
But I wonder if there's something else beyond that.
No, I do too. I just, like I said, I didn't give it any second thought beyond like I said, that they're about to fight.
Oh, well, see, that's what I do. Because I look at everything that may not matter, and I'm like, hey, that matters.
Yeah.
Whereas you guys bring the actual substance, I'm just like, hey, Godzilla played.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
really interesting.
The guitar has all the symbols for coexist on it.
Yeah, I didn't know exactly what to make of that, other than the fact that it was representative when he starts to use it.
Yeah.
Of a fully integrated person. And again, because it's more of a spiritual aspect of a movie. Now I don't know how to say this without sounding bad. I don't necessarily think you have to follow every single world religion to become a fully integrated person, but I do think that's what that was trying to say. Because his name was at the top of it, right? You go up the neck of the guitar, and it had like the Christian symbol, the Jewish symbol, like all the way up through all the Eastern religions. Yeah, and then at the very top was his name, and I think when he uses that at the very end to deflect Satan, to deflect the evil of the world, using. It's something about integration, and like I said, it's becoming complete, which is a parallel to Satan, who is also trying to become complete.
Everybody just wants to be complete, man.
Yeah, and
That's what this movie's about.
That's what
Everybody
I
just
meant
wants to be
at the
complete.
ending with
Yeah,
the
man.
pick versus the
journey of life.
bong. Like
The
the
circle of
pick
life.
is the pick like gives you success, gives you completion.
The pick that makes you complete becomes broken,
Yeah.
and you have to. Yo, there it is.
Yeah.
You have to what?
You have to make your own completion.
Well, okay, yeah.
To talk about master
But
debater and explorer.
hey, he's not wrong though, because what he just said really sounded like a stoner thought, which is where I was going into.
Yo.
Like the pig versus the
You
bong.
have
it's
to
not
make your own
necessarily-
completion.
It's not necessarily what it is.
You
It's
gotta
just
text
kind of.
her, you gotta text that
I'm the master of my own completion.
just without context. She goes, "What?"
I master completion every night.
Jesus.
Kyle wants tits.
My wife's not here in this episode, by
Not
the
you,
way.
Kyle. Not you, Kyle.
Oh, I
Kyle
thought you meant
Gass.
me because this is yeah.
But anyway, no. Back to what I was saying. You're talking about like Satan wanting to be complete, and that being like parallel to the evil of the world. It basically like them pursuing the pick. Even though they come together when they get the pick, when it comes time for them to be on stage, it leads to corruption of the band.
Yeah.
And but when they defeat the evil and they accept themselves, they get the bong, which just gives them it gives them sort of like congregation between each other.
Time ago.
Not condoning the weeds.
No, yeah,
But-
we're definitely anti that.
But
yeah.
it's not
Anti-condone?
it's not really talking about
Anti-condoning, yeah.
necessarily the weed. It's just talking about like
Yeah.
being friends and,
Yeah, well,
and
it's
making
the,
art.
It's the activity that you do
Yeah.
with your friends, right? It's
Yeah, whatever
it's what this is.
you
I
do.
mean,
You
yeah.
do things with your friends to achieve completion together.
beautifully worded. Beautifully worded.
Sometimes in a square.
Wait, what are we doing after this?
Sometimes in a square. Sometimes a triangle. Sometimes a circle. Whatever shape
Yeah.
you want.
So I did want to talk about because I hinted at this during Chris's
Ow.
he tried to crush the can on his head.
No, he just went aha.
He went aha. I hinted at this during
Ow.
Chris's opening bit about the Clockwork Orange, right? So
Singing it in the
So
rain.
that movie is about it's about a terrible, terrible human being who does awful, terrible things, and he gets arrested. He goes to jail, and
I've read the whole summary on Wikipedia.
Yeah. So he gets arrested. He goes to jail, and when he's there at jail, the government does like an experimental procedure on him, which basically makes it to where he can't commit obscene acts anymore. And well, it makes him completely defenseless, right? Because he just becomes a weak person. He has no willpower at all because of this almost
the devil's pick.
almost neutering. And at the very end of this, basically he like commits suicide. But then,
Spoilers.
Oh yeah.
well, no, he doesn't actually do
Spoilers.
it because the person forces him to commit suicide. It's a whole big thing. And anywho, the moral question at the center of that movie
That was 2 weeks ago, Kyle.
is forcing someone to be good, and is it better to let them choose to be bad? Right. So it's the question of like free will. Is it better for what the hell did you say to me? Right earlier, like literally, like when I was in the middle of this, what the fuck did you just say to me?
I already forgot.
Me too.
You said something about last week.
Oh, you said something about who was it? I said no, that was 2 weeks ago.
Shut! I hate you. That, like,
Did that throw you off?
Yeah, well, yeah, because I was
I
in the
didn't
middle, I was in the middle of a
understand it,
sentence and I was trying to like process what you were saying, and I was like, "What? Shut the fuck up!"
Yeah,
So
isn't it awful when he interrupts?
yeah, I
you?
know it's the worst because I'm in the middle of trying to articulate something, and Jake's like,
You guys know, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, we did that movie.
"Hey, I'm Jake.
With
I
the
offer nothing of
elephant
substance while someone else is talking."
Hey, you wouldn't be here without me, all right?
I don't like you.
Are you
so,
God?
Yes,
Okay.
Anyways,
I am Shrek, and Shrek is God. But
You
what I
look
do
like
want to
Shrek.
say, thank
Well,
you.
no, this
Hey,
Continue.
hey,
Let-
you know whose favorite movie is Shrek?
Let him continue, please.
Huh? No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay, because by the time this comes out, that would have already happened.
Okay.
So, well, anyway,
Oh,
I read
Uh,
on Velocipaster, we read your email about free will. So
Yeah.
you don't have to go into that. Because
well, no, I was just gonna say, like, is it better to force everybody to be good or let them choose to be bad? That's the question Clockwork Orange raises, and that's interesting because when Jack Black is attacked, he's attacked by people who it's a clear like Clockwork Orange
Oh,
reference, and so
gotcha.
that to me is like more of an undertone under this entire movie, right? Because his family was trying to force
like a
him to
pie.
be good, whereas he chooses
To-
whether he can be bad or good himself.
yeah.
And that's what I was trying to get at, but Jake was being a dumbass and interrupting me and be like,
That-
"We already
that's-
read your email," and then
that's-
you completely misinterpreted it. Oh, that just means God can do whatever He wants. No, that's not what the email said.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, but he knows.
Well,
Yes.
I talked
what
about
you
that.
said about Clockwork Orange, that is really interesting now that I know that. Because I was really confused by why they decided to do that Clockwork
Oh yeah,
Orange
me
thing.
too. That's why I had to like really
And
think about
Dang,
it.
now we have to do Godzilla now. Where's
But
Godzilla?
that immediately
No,
gives
in
this
this, the one that plays in this.
Oh, okay.
that immediately gives this film like so much more meaning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and like I said, that's why I thought it was interesting to bring up. But you know, if
Yeah.
you're Jake, then it doesn't matter.
Thank you for the brownies, Jake. Are you sure you
Hey.
didn't put anything in them? Because I'm feeling weird.
No.
Yeah, he put glass in it. I'm pretty sure that's what meth looks like.
Jesse, we need to cook.
Hey,
Jesse.
okay, but there is one thing I want to put on before we start wrapping up.
Yeah.
So
Wrap it. Walkie-talkie.
walkie-talkie. All right,
While Jake is saying this, I'm going to interrupt him as much as I
Deshaun
can.
will be here soon.
What studio-
Sorry,
Chill.
Chill.
Silencio.
By the way, Chill is a collective. It's not him. His name is Arsenic. His
That's
rap
funny.
name. At least that's what he told me. Alright.
Dude, I love Chris. That was so much unneeded information, and he kept going. And everyone was like, okay.
anyway, what studio produced this film?
Studio. You know what's pretty cool about studios? We have a studio that we do stuff in that studio. It's pretty. Have you ever seen Nickelodeon Studios? Now it looks like an adult studio.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm playing Jake.
Okay. I thought you were playing me because
Sorry,
it went
sorry.
on for
Go-
a while
go ahead.
and it
Go
didn't
ahead, Jake.
amount to
Do that
anything.
again.
Go ahead, Jake. No, don't need my fingers.
Uh,
My fingies.
what studio produced this film?
Was it Fox?
No.
No, it wasn't.
It
Fox.
was New Line Cinema.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
right.
And they did Free Willy.
No, but they also did one of my most vivid
No,
memories.
But they also did.
One of my most vivid memories is the New Line Cinema logo
Yeah,
right before the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film.
that's very strange. Why don't blow it over here.
Where am I going with this, you
Yeah,
ask?
Yeah. Speaking of going, I was in my car and I was going in the car. Continue, Jake.
You took a shit in your car?
Yeah.
I'm going to cut out the part that you said. Anyway, so yeah, it was produced by New Line Studios, which made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. After Jack Black and Kyle Gass leave the Rock and Roll History Museum, they go into a sewer.
Neat.
Not
Yeah.
only that, but it is almost identical to the shot that we see the first time the turtles go into the sewer.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All I'm saying is,
I think I'm having a heart attack. Hold on.
Are you okay?
No, I'm getting like a weird like.
That's not where your heart is.
No, I know that, but it hurts.
yeah, well, it's meth. So
Okay.
anyway, but yeah. So my theory is
Yeah.
that guy.
That's just a theory.
A film theory and cut.
Sorry, continue.
They take place in the same universe.
Okay.
TMNT and this movie.
Yeah.
I feel like they
Dude.
take place in an alternate dimension, and Jack Black in that dimension is Michelangelo.
Who
No,
are you calling?
my dad.
Why?
Why am I calling my
Well,
dad?
it's Father's Day.
That's Father's Day.
Hey, let's call our dads at the same time.
At the same time? Okay, I'll do it. If he picks up,
No, I'm not going to
do it.
I'm not
I'm
going
not gonna do it because then he's gonna feel obligated to listen to this, and I said a bad word earlier. So
If my dad doesn't pick it up, I'm gonna call my mom, and then if she picks it up, I go, put on dad.
Your dad doesn't let you say bad words?
no, it's not. It's not that he doesn't let me. It's just that he's not a big fan of it. You know.
Hi, this is Tracy Barrier. Sorry.
All right, I'm gonna call my mom now.
Okay. This is
I gotta get him on the podcast.
also known as female daddy.
I do not like that at all.
I really didn't like that.
How much of this are you gonna keep in?
All of it.
The last bit.
Yeah.
That's exciting for our viewers. Just
And
waiting
if
for a
and if
phone
my
call.
mom doesn't pick it up, I'm gonna call my brother.
Kyle, you and I should do something entertaining for the viewers.
Okay.
Well, they're not viewers.
I got.
For the listeners.
I got to play Spider-Man Miles Morales, and
on the PS5.
on the PS5. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty fun. Oh, I have that. We should. Oh well, I guess we gotta.
Drop your address
God.
in the podcast
Yeah.
so that everybody can come to
1541.
your house and
Hey,
steal your
shut up.
PlayStation 5.
Yeah. So you know what would be really cool for all of our shaggy egg goose dumbasses is if you guys want to create your own like podcast, just let me know your favorite social security number
Your favorite?
and
What?
and
They
your
they
name.
give you yours.
Yeah. No, my I don't know if I should say this, but my social security number has a funny number in it.
Don't say it.
Hey, where are you?
I won't say where though.
Where's Dad?
Outside.
Can you go give your phone to him, please? Oh, you're on the podcast. Do you want to say something?
You're on the podcast apparently. Who's Hefe?
That's my brother.
Oh, I didn't. I swear to God, I didn't know you had a family.
Do you want to say something? You're on the podcast. Say hello.
Hello.
All right. Thanks.
Go get Dad.
I need Dad.
Go get Dad.
This is Jake.
What are we gonna ask him?
This is Jake. My contact. Hey, I'm Dad will call you back.
No. I need him right now.
He needs you right now. Yeah, dude.
You're on the podcast. Say hello.
Hello.
This is my father.
What do you?
Hi.
Let me see if you get this, father. A long ass fucking time ago in a land called Kickapoo. Do you get that? Do you know what that is?
I'd have to think about that for a moment.
All right, it's
Think
10
again.
Oh, do you what's another line?
They lived a humble family, religious through and through. But nay, there was a black sheep, and he knew just what to do.
My name is Jack Black.
That's okay.
Is that the greatest song in the world?
No.
No, it's not from-
But that is the right band.
But it is the right band.
Oh, okay.
And what movie did that band make?
The only movie they made.
I'm not sure.
I'll give you a hint. The first two words are Tenacious D.
That movie.
And the Pick of Destiny.
It's Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny. Have you seen that?
This was really entertaining for everybody.
Okay. Well, I was trying to put you on the podcast since it's Father's Day, so happy Father's Day.
All right.
This is my gift to
Have you
you.
told him about that yet today?
What?
Have you told him Happy Father's Day yet?
No.
Oh.
Okay. That was it.
All right, bye.
Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.
Your dad's
That
cool.
was so like.
He lets you say bad words to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
He also sounds like way younger.
Here's the
than-
thing, Jake, and I don't mean to be a jerk, but that was not fun.
I thought it was fun.
It
No, it was entertaining.
was a lot of waiting.
It was.
That's fine.
I was just trying to say like a good epic one-liner.
And you know what? You know how you know how you were like,
I can't look at Chris for more
nothing
than
of that
15
was funny.
seconds.
Yeah, that one-liner wasn't funny. So.
Hey, you know what is funny? My mom. Mom, I apologize.
No way, bro.
That's just way too good.
Seth Rogen.
You know what else? Is the master of completion? My mom.
No, that's disgusting.
Hey.
You sick freak.
You guys know what voice I can do?
Oh.
What would you putting in the Kodak film and the pimple bottles?
Happy Father's Day, because he was a father on
Yo,
the
I
show.
love on the show. He tried to be a father.
Oh no! I was gonna say that.
That's about as problematic as it gets.
He took it too farther.
He took it too farther.
What? He has some kind of like famous like stand-up routine with like chocolate cake.
No, he was. Well, he
Which-
was standing up.
Oh
but they
no!
were. Oh yeah, no, the chocolate cake. That is great. Hey, he made his chocolate cake. Hey,
Find none of that funny.
Bill Cosby himself.
Who-
That's the
have
stand-up
I-
special that it was on. That's actually really funny.
Really?
But
Why
if
is
you,
Bill
if
Cosby
you watch
funny?
it more than once,
I'm trying to think of what I've ever
John
seen.
Mulaney is always funny.
Like the sitcom.
Kevin Hart.
The
Kevin
sitcom
Hart.
was good.
Have
Nick
you ever
Kroll?
watched his?
Have you seen? Oh, hello.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Have you seen Kevin Hart's like stand-up stuff?
I've seen like bits and pieces of some of them.
There's one bit where he talks about his like
His
cursing out his teacher.
Yeah,
That-
I know. That's
the
I've seen that so many
funniest
times.
bit.
Have
Like,
y'all
it's
seen?
hilarious.
I know it's like overplayed, but like
Yeah.
when I saw it the first time, my cousin, shout out cousin who won't listen.
Come out, Grant.
Yes.
He means the grant. The podcast
Yeah,
has been given
the
for
the grant for my
Stupidity.
Well, it's not
like-
really a grant. It's more like a
it's-
warrant
It's
because of the shit I say. But sorry, no, continue.
Um,
no, I lost my.
have y'all seen Donald Glover's Weirdo? That's good. But also my favorite is Tom Segura.
My favorite growing
Tom
up.
Segura? Is that Claire's brother?
Yeah. Wait, why are we talking about this?
My favorite growing
Yeah,
up.
whoa.
My favorite growing up.
I swear to God, I forgot we were recording.
My favorite growing up was Gabriel Iglesias,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
and now it's Bobo.
So here's
But
our
not
here's
because
our-
of Inside, because I've been
Right.
Chris has never heard of him until
Dude,
Inside.
I was a huge fan of him
White
since
woman.
White
Woman's
Instagram. No, I was
It's
a
like,
huge fan of
who's
him
Bill?
in high school.
Who's Bill Burr? Yo, Inside is the greatest thing ever made. Anyway, all right, that's what we're gonna do. Hey, tweet us.
I burped. Call me Kyle Gass. Hey.
Sean was
I've been
gonna
waiting
do
for that the
a
entire-
freestyle.
Hey, I
Is he
gotta-
walking up?
Well, he's supposed to be soon, but he's
Wow.
Well, we're
I
still
mean, we
talking.
could. I was gonna say, I was like, at the very least.
Well,
we can-
no, we could do something. You have the guitar, and there's a
Oh, I
guitar
got-
over there.
I
Wait,
got-
wait, we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
I'm not gonna play that guitar.
No, I'll play it. Bring it to me, please. Really happy.
Yeah, that's what you get when you drink two. Aha.
Here, give me that one.
No, I want the acoustic one.
Okay. All right, tweet us. No, plug it back in. Is it plugged in? Okay, cool. All right. So tweet. I hold on, Kyle. Just a second. Oh, this is hard to do.
Sorry, I'm just tuning real quick.
Hold on. Oh wait. Ew, that is not in tune. Anyway, tweet us.
This is the longest episode ever.
Yeah, that sounds like a Modest Mouse.
Tweet us at a bunch of guitar noises.
Tweet us at Pacino Pod on Twitter.
Follow Jake and myself and Chris on Instagram. Chris posts daily.
I need to post more.
You haven't posted anything from your wedding, like at all.
I'm going to.
I'm just saying, like, you need to hop on that train
I know.
before
I
everybody
just.
forgets.
I'm bad at like social media.
Yeah.
What's your favorite stand-up is? No,
Yeah,
email
tweet.
us at pachinopodcast@gmail.com. A good video of you playing an instrument, guitar preferably. And ready or not, there was a couple explosions in this, right?
There was a song
there,
about
there,
explosions.
there was one legit explosion where a dude's head exploded, and it was a master exploder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I did not mean
not mean
to blow your mind.
blow your mind.
Da-da-da.
That shit happened to me.
Yeah.
Jake has neighbors.
Yeah, we don't care anymore.
All right, are we ready?
Yeah.
All right, play us out.
Hold up, wait. Just in case we need to break into anything.
1, 2. Wait, let me turn this down a little bit. Where's the gain at?
It's up here. I turned it down.
Okay, ready? Go. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Tenacious, it's a really good movie. It's about two guys getting stoned and being best friends and making a journey to the fucking road, cause they need to get the pick of destiny. They need to get the pick of destiny. Not the toothpick of dentistry. They need to get the pick of destiny.
All right, let me fade him out. Wait.
Yeah, music.
Yeah, music.
I wanted to end it with that.
Well, too late.
Wait. Okay.
Sound sauerkraut.
Oh shit! That's sauerkraut.
Yeah, I wanted to fade out with this. Don't sauerkraut. This is the worst episode that we did.
No, it wasn't that bad.